In September 23, you put up an Instagram post which gave an insight into your journey as an artist and also the development of your album Creation of Basil. In that post, you talk about your father, who you spoke about a lot today, who has unfortunately passed away. You spoke about the pride he would have felt seeing you explore music and the deep sadness you felt of him never getting to see that himself. You also talk about how, despite the difficulty you face with this, you're going to keep going. And it's encompassed beautifully by the line in that post. In the face of all the pain that came before, I was going to live a life that was all worth it. I think that resonates with a lot of people, but will have different meanings depending on the individual's experience. In the face of all the pain that came before me, I was going to live a life that was all worth it. What does that mean to you?
So I think it's the most powerful frame I could come up with for my life, basically. So imagine before I was born, imagine 200 years ago, 400 years ago, the entire, gene pool up until I was born. Who knows what was going on? Who knows the countless suffering of my ancestors? The fact that we're just sitting here with water now and electricity and ice machines, we've no idea of how lucky we are and the level of comfort, and we'll never understand that. We'll never understand what it's like to be in the 1800s, like eating gruel and watching, your babies die and all this terrible stuff. And so you could let that really get you down, because you could just say, oh, well, I don't deserve this or whatever. But I think what that line kind of ties into is the only way I can kind of, not like be comfortable with the idea of me living while others have died. So what would my dad say to me, right? He's dead. If he was looking down now and he see me being so upset and just being like, oh no, he's dead, I'm alive, like everyone has just suffered until I was here, woe is me. I think they've died, right? So they know that this comes to an end. They actually know that this will eventually end. And so the only thing I can think that they'd say is that it's just you have to get on with it. Because the fact that it ends, it just means that you might as well play the game. You might as well, and they'd want that for you, because it's very hard to encapsulate this, because I just know that if I was dead and I was looking down, I was like, you might as well get on with it. You're going to be like me, dead. So what's the fucking point in wallowing and everything? Because you could wallow until you die as well. Or you can try get on with it, and then you'll never make it worth it. What does worth it even mean? But imagine you could. Imagine somehow your life, this is the weight you take on. This is why it's so epic. Fucking 14 billion years of the universe, right? Evolving until you are here. And you, with your 80 years or so, now have to make all that worth it. All the ups and downs of 14 billion years. What would your life look like? How could you live in such a way that it would make it worth it? And even if you never reach for it, that's the ideal. You have to put something in the highest place. We all have something in the highest place. Let's say with this podcast, we're putting the idea that podcasts are a worthwhile pursuit, let's say, for whatever reasons. But we're deciding to put that here and go after it. So, but if you put something in the highest place, what do you hold high above everything else? And what could you put up there that would give you the best life possible? And so imagine you could live a life where your soul and your heart was aligned with every step that you took. Maybe in this moment, right? I don't like how you handed me this cup. and I'm really annoyed by it, but I'm not being true and honest to it, but I'm just putting up with it. That's not taking the step that was the most truest to my heart and soul. And we do that. We make sacrifices and concessions, and sometimes we have to. And sometimes it's the right thing to do because, there's no point in me getting pissed off about this now because, I want a nice experience for everyone else. So sometimes it's for the greater good. But there's so many situations where, we're sitting on the sidelines. We're not picking up the guitar because I'm too old to do this, or I'm too whatever to do whatever. I'm too shy. We're just putting up all these like barriers. It's so sad that we just prevent our own selves from like allowing any sort of movement towards something that we know that we'd want to do, but we're saying, I don't know why. It's just a protection mechanism, because if you don't play the game, then you never have to lose the game, in a way. And I think that's like, it's a thing that people need to get over. So basically, that's trying to shoot a frame for your life that would hopefully pull you in the greatest possible direction for your life, basically. Because even if whatever cards we were dealt, let's say, all we can do is play the best that we can with those cards. And it's not about, doing something that is not feasible. Like, as in, I'm not going to be in the NBA, I'm not going to be going to the moon. But what can I do with my life? And even if it's just, doing this one podcast, maybe that was the best. But like, at least I'm striving towards that. And no one can say, whose life is better than another life, because really all you could have done, imagine if you could play a video game, a simulation, like the Luke Newman situation. Your max possible life is your max possible life. You know what I mean? It's all you could have done with your life. And that might be something that's mundane in comparison to Donald Trump becoming the president. But you maxed out your fucking life. And it's just like, that's what we can do while we're here. And that's what that frame can possibly do, I think.